right, and welcome to a new edition of After the Whistle, September, what day is today? September 17th, I think.
Yeah, correct.
September 17th, 2020, and we are back. The world of sports is going crazy.
Yeah,
we got choke artists, we got crazy game one finishes, we got record setters in the NFL, and we'll get right to it. Todd's here, just coming off his Zoom meeting.
Yeah. Whew. Man, teaching kids how to work Zoom and Schoology's tough, but hey, we gotta do it.
Yeah, and we here in the living room, and they cooking in the kitchen. By the time we done here, we gonna smell like food. All right, so get right into it. The Celtics and the Heat, game one of the Eastern Conference Finals, and what a game it was. Probably one of the most exciting first game of a series I've watched in a long time. And we've all said these two teams are pretty evenly matched, and it came down to the wire, and the Heat just made a little bit more plays than the Celtics. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, I'm torn between this series, Heat and Celtics fan, only team I root for. So, my biggest thing with them, the difference is the Heat has more experience. You got Dragic. Was he an All-Star at one point?
I think this year was his first year.
You got Dragic, who's an experienced point guard, and you got Jimmy Buckets, who's probably the best two-way player in the league.
Yeah.
So, and I just think they're a little more experienced right now at this point in time in their careers.
I just think the Celtics are going to look back at this game, and they're going to just drive themselves crazy of the mistakes they made. Because first they had a 5-point lead with a minute left, and they couldn't seal the deal. Then you want to take a long three with the tied ball game instead of just driving to the rack and trying to make a play. If you look at that play, Jimmy was cheating the whole time. He was creeping the whole time when he got the ball. So I think with Tatum, my thing was you could tell all his life he's been known. He's like, go get a bucket. Pretty much go get a bucket, and you could tell like he's not really that a playmaker like that yet, because if you look at that play, Campbell was wide open. Then you look at the baseline, Marcus Smart was butt naked open. So it was just like, those are the type of things you think Tatum is going to grow from, because they were like, all eyes were on him. And I just didn't like how the play calling, the ISO ball the Celtics did. Because when you just do an ISO ball, all eyes are on one guy on the defense. That's a lot easier for a defense.
I totally understand that, but that's what I mean also about the experiences. They haven't been in those positions to be able to execute.
Yeah.
Butler, he's playoff proven. So was Dragic for his short stint with the Suns. They made the playoffs that much with the Suns? Did he make it at all?
I think once.
Oh, so I said my short stint in the playoffs. So it's just like they know time and situation.
Yeah.
My whole theory, last 4 minutes of the game, layups and free throws.
Yeah.
So I get it. For one, that three was just a bad three. The whole sidestep three, man.
Yeah.
Just shoot a legit three, get a jumper, just get to the bucket, man. Make them call a foul or make them convince themselves you got.
Don't bail them out.
Yeah,
don't bail them out,
and don't allow the refs. To dictate the game for the most part.
Yeah, because if you saw the Heat on their last few possessions, it was, they had everybody moving around, and what the Celtics were doing, they kept double teaming, and the Heat just capitalized off those double teams because they kept finding people open. And then with the Celtics, the Heat kept trapping them, and it seemed like, this is why I say Gordon Hayward is missed for those, because usually he welcomes a double team. He'll welcome a double team and he'll find an open man. That's like all the criticism people have of Gordon Hayward is kind of ridiculous, but those type of situations, he'll welcome the double team and find an open man. The Heat, they always found the open man. They were always moving. So the Celtics, they just got to do a little better than that. Plus, it was just a great game, and it's like they have small things to fix, which is fine. But this is a competitive series, and Bam just made one heck of a block. That was just one heck of a block. You got to give it up to a player like that.
And one thing I would say, the Heat have a better understanding of their roles, I think, than the Celtics do. Sometimes we have some plays that kind of play outside themselves, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it hurts us.
Yeah.
The Heat, they know what they do, and they do it.
Yeah, and with that last block, if Tatum had has a little more, little more chest, he could have got an and one, but. The Heat, great game one. That was just an exciting game to watch just for the fans. Overtime, game had everything. I just didn't know I had so many Heat fans. I'm in a group chat. with a whole bunch of Heat fans. They changed the group chat name to Jimmy Butler Stan Chat.
Oh.
Yeah,
Boy,
man.
don't never call yourself no Stan.
Man, yeah, I've been getting harassed by Heat fans for the past 2 days. But
Now, have they been Heat fans, or they just miraculously became Heat fans all of a sudden?
some of them been Heat fans because they're from Miami, but some of them are just yeah.
Because you know me, it's the culture that he's always had with Pat Riley. So
Yeah, I'm still going with the Celtics in 6, so they gotta bounce back too.
I'm not even picking.
Bounce back game tonight. Game 2's tonight, 7 p.m. All right, and the biggest choke job since the 2016 NBA Finals, we seen the Los Angeles Clippers pretty much in the second half quit on Doc Rivers. This isn't the first time a team has quit on Doc Rivers, and they blew a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets, and the Nuggets just, hey, they played harder, they played smarter, and they wanted it more pretty much.
Yo, you know what I tell you when I go different places and play, and I meet guys from Cali, they always want to prove that the stigma is wrong, that they consider Cali guys soft. For Kawhi and Paul George to put that product out there on the floor last night, and you guys are from California playing for your hometown teams, or home state team, I say, like that's ridiculous. Like, and one thing I said about the playoffs, you can see when Kawhi is sick of somebody on the court, he just goes 100 miles an hour and just gets straight buckets. You can tell like they need get more camaraderie with the team. They need to be together longer, but. For one thing to make that an excuse is not an excuse at all. Get a bucket.
They scored in the second half. I think they had a total of 33 points in the second half. And this team, there have been some issues with this team. I've been saying for like a couple months now, they have too much, well, not a couple months, a couple weeks. They have too many bad habits that they've never corrected. And you know, when you're on a team and you don't correct those bad habits throughout the season, you're not going to go anywhere. And you could just see with this team, there was bad habits. Then I read an article that they was infighting during the game. I think game 6, Paul George and Montrezl Herald were arguing. And it was just like, here's my thing with the Clippers. It was Patrick Beverley. From the moment they got Kawhi Leonard, he was walking around sticking his chest out. It started in the summer league. I think it was the day after it was announced he was done. You see him walking in the gym in the summer room like, yeah, we got Kawhi now. Like, you know, just trying not to acknowledge everybody. And then game 1 of the season, he's telling Steph, the next 5 years of mine. Then he's mocking Dame. He's doing all that. He's doing the most. And he's like the fourth. He's not even the 4th best player on the team. And just they had that target on their back, which he caused, and he didn't help. He didn't do nothing.
You know, my thing is, man, dudes don't have time to talk.
Yeah.
So. They ain't got time to talk. Dame was too busy killing the playoffs. He just, his team fell short.
And just ran into a better team.
And Steph. So Pat really can't talk to neither one of them.
Yeah, and the trolling was, I was dying. You know, I was sending you some of those stuff they were sending them. The trolling was hilarious, but also
Paul George hit the side of the backboard, bro. That's how I knew it. This is done. This is done.
Yeah.
Like, you could have grabbed some random guy that worked for Turner. He would have shot that on the backboard, like.
And you see Jamal Murray. He was just giving them buckets. The thing with Jamal Murray, when he gets hot, It's like any shot he takes, he's gonna make, even if it's ridiculous. It just goes in. I'm like, I've seen players get hot, but for some reason, every time he gets hot, I'm like, yo, this dude is he's not missing.
I want to apologize to Murray. He proved me wrong, which I have no problem being wrong. I like being wrong because I'm usually right. Yeah. So with that being said, man, he figured out how to get space. Yeah. And now, good luck with the Lakers, though.
And Jokic, he just showed how overrated Zubac was and how
underrated. Zubac ain't no good.
People love Zubac for some reason.
No, you love him because he's a big and he does regular big man stuff, but he's not good.
Yeah, he's not good. And Zubac and Jokic proved that. But also, we gotta look at Doc Rivers. You know, I'm not the biggest Doc Rivers fan. There's a lot of reasons why I'm not the biggest Doc Rivers fan. And this isn't the first time a team has quit on him. You know, it happened here with the Celtics. It happened in Orlando. There's a little trend that Doc has going.
All right, well, when you're starting to become known as a coach that blows 3-1 leads, because he's blown three, I think it's time for you to take a step back from the coaching world, go be a TV analyst, see the game from that perspective. In a year or two, you'll probably be back in the coaching ranks. So he's not a bad coach, but it's just he might be out of touch with some of the players, or he just needs to take some time away from the game and let these other guys that deserve a chance get a chance.
Maybe, but this is a bad look for him. And if it was any other circumstances, he probably would have got the pink slip right after the game. But with this whole COVID and bubble, they're gonna run it back with him. But now next year the pressure's on even more. But I think they need to change their lineup. They need to get rid of some guys and bring in some new guys because they got the talent, but when you have all the talent, sometimes it just doesn't work. And with this team, they need to get rid of a few guys.
And I think Kawhi going to the Clippers and then Paul George coming over, he probably felt like, all right, I don't have to be the guy now.
Yeah.
Because Paul George is naturally just a better offensive threat. You would think.
You would think.
He showed in the past he's just a better offensive threat, but now it's showing that Kawhi's like the man, and Paul George is still trying to figure it out. But once again, every style just doesn't come into a team and just balls out.
Yeah.
Some people it's an adjustment for some people, and it seemed like an adjustment for him.
Yeah. Yeah, well, tough break, Clippers. Y'all still the Clippers, so tough break. And the Lakers and the Nuggets, game 1, Friday. I don't even know about this series. It's because, I don't know. I don't care about the Western Conference at this point, but it should be entertaining because of the shooting of Denver, and then, once again, who's going to stop AD? Because AD is the biggest X factor. We already know LeBron is, but every time he's matched up with Jokic, he's had his way with Jokic.
I mean, yeah, because Jokic isn't as athletic as him.
Yeah.
But, man, Jokic, they got to run their offense through Jokic.
Yeah.
Because when you see when you run through Murray, you can double him, and Jokic, it takes Jokic some time to get involved. When you start Jokic off the beginning of the game, Murray's going to get his buckets regardless. Yep. And Jokic is the best passer we've seen in a long time. And
the thing is, they're going to make the Lakers defense work because unlike Houston, the Lakers defense just can't key in on the guy at the top of the key. The Lakers defense has to be really focused because these guys do a lot of cutting. They always finding the open man on the three. And they have plenty of guys who can hit shots. So that matters. But if they go down 3-1, this is a different animal.
The Lakers, they letting you up.
Yeah, you go down 3-1, you might as well just kiss the bubble goodbye. So we'll see how this goes. But I don't care about the Western Conference, so I don't really care about it.
That.
Yeah. Let's go to some NFL news. And Killer Cam was on display on Sunday, and he was on one. The Patriots looked like a college team. They looked like Auburn back in 2011. The way they were going, 13 design runs for Cam Newton. Led the team in rushing. It was just, I loved what I saw.
Yeah, man, it's a breath of fresh air. It really is, just because you go into the game before you knew what to expect from Brady. Now it's like you really don't know, and you got a dual threat quarterback that can throw it and run it, but you're gonna utilize his feet. So, man, I'm excited to see how the season's gonna go.
Yeah, me too. And they just did whatever they wanted to do. The game could have been a lot more uglier, but N'Keal Harry fumbled it in the end zone, and they got the touchback. That's the only reason the Dolphins got a touchdown, but. Throughout, the Patriots played a complete game, offensively and defensively. 3 turnovers. They didn't really allow the Dolphins to get anything. And then Cam Newton, 15 of 19. I mean, that's all you can ask for.
And when's the last time a Patriots quarterback had 2 rushing touchdowns?
I think Brady has before, but not like that.
2 in one game?
Yeah.
Like legit rushing touchdowns, not like quarterback sneaks and all that. Nah, we don't count those, bro. You just found the end zone quarterback sneak. You ain't run nowhere.
Yeah. And also, what was interesting in this game, you see the Dolphins trying to take his chain after the game?
Yeah, man, that's just petty, bro. But for one, I've never seen people's chains that low. Like, granted, it's not real low chain at all, but for you to be hanging out your jerseys, usually kind of tucked in. Yeah. And when, professional sports, you got something dang on your neck, they gonna yank it.
You should have yanked it during the game, not after the game.
They couldn't get to him.
At all. So they were doing all that after the game when they could have done it all during the game. We had more than enough opportunities, and he was running them all over.
Remember, though, this new generation is weird.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do stuff in the heat of the battle. They do it afterwards.
Yeah, which absolutely. Then they go on Twitter.
They talk tough online. They see each other. They shake each other's hands. It's weird.
Yeah, and plus he said it had his kids' names on it. That's why he was so mad. The chain they was trying to take.
I'll be honest, you yank my kid's chain, I'm punching you in the face. Ain't no talking to me after the game.
That's what he told Coach Belichick. He's like,
I reached over somebody.
But the Dolphins, it's still the Dolphins. That was just dumb of them to do that. But the Patriots, they got their hands full now. Great way to start the season. It's always great to start with a win. You know, their schedule doesn't get any easier from here. They're traveling to Seattle.
And we got to get the bad teams. You got to get the bad teams.
Definitely. So I'll just run down their next few games. So they're at Seattle. Then the week after, they got the Raiders coming here. Then they're going to Kansas City. Then they got the Broncos. Then they got the 49ers. Then they got the Bills.
See, it didn't sound that crazy to me when you said that thing last week, but when you read it out loud, I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And then the Jets, the Ravens, Texans. It's a tough schedule, but I think the Patriots is fine with the defense they got, and they run the ball. They controlled it.
That's a schedule to get you ready for a Super Bowl.
Hell yeah. I'm telling you, if they come out this season with 10 or 11 wins, watch out for them in the playoffs. All right. It wasn't such a good opener for Tom Brady and the Bucks. This game, I don't know if you watched it, but they both look like 40-year-old quarterbacks.
Nah, I didn't watch it at all, man. Like, I'm kind of, I'm telling you, I'm not that confident in the Bucks. And I think when any guy goes to a new team, especially at the quarterback position, it's an adjustment. It takes some time to understand your teams.
Like 4 weeks.
Yeah, so
into the season.
Yeah, so I'm rooting against him the first 3 weeks. I don't care who they play.
Yeah, the thing with the Bucks, the thing about this game, when they look back at this game, they're gonna be like they had a chance to win it because it was tied 7-7, and then this is the sequence that happened: quarterback and receiver aren't on the same page. Interception, Saints score. They drive down, blocked field goal. I think the Saints went down and scored. Then they had another stop. 3rd down and long for the Saints. They get a penalty. Push the ball at the goal line. Saints score again, and then you get a pick 6. They had like a couple sequences where they shot themselves in the foot. That's what they're gonna look at. But Drew Brees wasn't any good himself. You look at his stats, you think 18 for 30 was good, but it was a struggle. And it's going to be a very interesting season for these two teams because we already know with the Saints, they'll have this great regular season and then they're going to lose in the playoffs and then complain the whole way. But with these guys, you got to look at Mike Evans, 1 catch, Gronk, 2 catches. So they got a lot to work with.
Yeah, he has to get used to his personnel. And, one thing with Brady the past couple of years was his turnovers.
Yeah.
For him to have 2 intros his first game, and then for you to have 9 penalties, and New Orleans have 6 penalties, for one, stop being so sloppy. You guys are supposed to be like high-powered offenses. Yeah. Basically, I want to say high-level teams. Yeah. You guys are playing like you guys are bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Like, come on, clean it up.
Some things with the Bucks just don't change. And then Brady, his last 3 games, I think he's had like 3 pick sixes he's thrown 3 pick sixes his last 3 games. So they just hand the ball off 30 times. Y'all be good. Just hand the ball off. You got 2 running backs. Hand it off and figure out your passing afterwards. But whew,
at least 20 times.
Yeah.
You only had 17 carries.
But the great thing, it's only week 1, so nowhere to go but up, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Stay down.
Some teams and then some other teams, just like it's a new season, new coach, but some things still stay the same, and that is the Dallas Cowboys scoring 17 points against the Los Angeles Rams, and the Cowboys had plenty of opportunity to win this game, but once again, Dallas is Dallas, and they just did Dallas things.
Yeah, man, I kind of see why he was telling me why Dak doesn't really, or why they feel Dak doesn't really deserve the money. Mm-hmm. He got a show, and I thought he proved it last season, and he went 25 for 39, 266, 1 touchdown. I don't think that's the worst game, but they got to clean things up. Like, they were awful with 3rd down conversions going 3 to 12 to the Rams 9 to 17. You just know that's more possessions. Mm-hmm. That's more chances to score. So if you can't convert 3rd downs, man, you might as well just sit down.
And then you look at the 4th down, they went for it 3 times, only got it once. And then the one I had a problem with there was like 11 minutes left. It was still a close game. They were in the red zone. They could have tied it up with a field goal, and they went for it. The play call wasn't bad, but you throw it to a young receiver who doesn't run his route towards the first down marker. He runs it a couple yards short, and then the Rams DB just makes a great play. So that play I didn't like. I'm like, just kick the field goal. Your defense isn't playing that bad. This game's still up in the air, but they did that.
And too, like Zeke only had 22 carries. He needed at least 30. He needed at least 30 because he had 96 shots. He would have got you 100 plus, and then the Rams had the ball for 11 more minutes. You're not even gonna have, you know what I mean? Like, they were milking the clock so much. They were honestly playing like a Super Bowl caliber team.
Yeah.
Just I want to say just some clock management and stuff, and every pass they threw was almost a first down.
Yeah,
8.4 yards a pass.
Yeah.
Like you ain't beating anyone. Like,
they just abandoned Zeke, and the game was still close enough for them to continue running the ball. So I don't know why they did that. And then the Dallas's last possession on that play to Gallup, that's just a mental mistake because he didn't even need to do all that. Because he had 2 yards on him, the ball was perfectly thrown. He didn't really need to even put his hands on Ramsey or nothing because he had the catch, but he want to do that, and they're gonna call it every time. If you know the NFL now, they call those every time. So Dallas gonna look at this game. They're gonna shoot themselves in the foot too because they had plenty of opportunities, but they still look like the team that was coached by Jason Garrett. So was it Jason Garrett or was it the?
And Goff didn't even throw a touchdown. How do you not win?
Hey man, some things change. The more things change, the more they stay the same. You can change coaches, but it's still the same old Cowboys.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. All right, let's go to the Fantasy No Huddle with Craig. Craig said he got a rant about Baker Mayfield. So I got one too, so we'll have one later. So Fantasy No Huddle with Craig.
What up, everybody? Welcome to No Huddle here on After the Whistle. It's your boy Craig. You may recognize me from the end zone, tail of the tape, and the flex. And I'm here to give you my No Huddle of the week, where I kind of want to take a little moment to rant on Baker Mayfield. Before Baker Mayfield was ever drafted into the NFL, before he was drafted by Cleveland Browns, I wasn't a big believer in the Baker Mayfield. I actually believe that Cleveland Browns should have went with Saquon Barkley and Bradley Chubb. I thought that little combination would have been real sweet. I thought that they could have actually moved up into the first round and then snapped back up into the first round with their second round picks to actually grab Lamar Jackson. Would have Lamar Jackson turned into what he is now on the Baltimore Ravens? He might not have been as good, but clearly he would have been better than Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is terrible. He's Johnny Manziel 2.0, more character than talent, and I just don't think that he's a starting caliber quarterback. I think that he's a guy that, because it obviously ain't about the talent around him. You got Odell Beckham, you got Jarvis Landry, you got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, arguably the best running back duo in the NFL. You got a pretty noteworthy offensive line. You got a 2 tight end set in Austin Hooper and David Njoku. Everything a quarterback could ask for, this man has, and somehow still can't win a game. And not even win a game, but make it competitive. You lost by over 30 points. Yes, to arguably what might be the top 3 quarterback in the league and probably top 3 team in the league, if not the best team in the league right now. But you scored 6 points, bro. This is a terrible team with a terrible quarterback, and I'm going to probably say mediocre coaching staff. I'll even give you the benefit of the doubt that you've gone through, I think, like 4 coaches since you've been in the league. So, that's not necessarily a great situation to be in as a developing quarterback, but you've had maybe like 10 good games in 3 seasons, and that's just not a good statistic. I can't say it enough. Baker Mayfield is a terrible decision. If I was the Cleveland Browns right now, my first thought is, let me call the Indianapolis Colts and see if we can make a trade for Jacoby Brissett. Because is Jacoby Brissett going to get you, maybe is he going to get you to the playoffs? I don't know. Is he going to give you a winning season with the talent around him? Yes. Are you going to finish the season with a better than a 500 record? Absolutely. Baker Mayfield, more than likely not. I'd be hard-pressed to believe that they win the game tonight against the Cincinnati Bengals, against a rookie quarterback, Joe Burrow's way better. I definitely think that they need to make a decision. Case Keenum's on the team. I like Case Keenum. I think that he might be able to take over and really make a run like he did with the Minnesota Vikings. So I don't know. I'm not high on Baker Mayfield. I love my boy Gardner Minshew though. The magic mustache is doing big things right now. Put a big upset on the Indianapolis Colts. looking really good. Could you imagine what he would do with that team over there in Cleveland? They they definitely have they definitely 1-0 right now. And you'd be talking playoffs. The dude is very exciting, and he knows how to make plays. Baker Mayfield is way too full of himself, way too in his head, and I just think it's time. I think if they lose to Cincinnati, I'm moving on to Case Keenum. If they beat Cincinnati, I'm giving them 2 more games. He loses those 2 games, I'm moving on to Case Keenum and possibly looking to trade for the likes of Jacoby Brissett. I love Jacoby Brissett. I'm kind of upset that he lost his job to Phillip Rivers. I'm kind of upset that they signed Phillip Rivers with the addition of that rookie quarterback, not Jake Fromm. I can't think of who the guy they signed was. Oh, yeah, Eason. They got Eason, and I think that should have been enough, but they got Phillip Rivers as well. So Jacoby Brissett's just sitting there waiting for a job, and I think Cleveland Browns is a perfect fit for him. I think they could utilize his skill set, and he can make magic happen. So we'll see what happens. All right, but until next week, we'll see you once again. Check out the End Zone. Check out Tell the Tape, and keep an eye out on No Huddle. You'll see me here once a week, and until then, have a good night.
Thanks, Craig, for that. And we are back, and we're going to go to another interview with Plus One interview, high school sports editor, high school reporter, Danny Ventura of the Boston Herald. Talk about fall sports. Soccer starts tomorrow. I think cross country starts tomorrow. Volleyball starts tomorrow. Talked about some stuff and what's happening. All right, so Plus One with Danny Ventura, and then we're going to come back. All right, welcome to another edition of the Plus One interview, and today we have a special guest. We have high school sports reporter, editor, all that, everything high school sports in Massachusetts. Mr. Danny Ventura, how you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. A little uneasy because usually last week would have been the start of football season, but with everything's happening, it's all the uncertainty is kind of slow over here, but
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, now that we're starting to get a little sniff that, soccer is going to be around the block and field hockey, you're getting the juices flowing, but it's not the same, with the, no football. The volleyball is probably very unlikely in most communities, but it's just, it's uncharted waters we're in.
Yeah. So with the MIA, I know this week, beginning on the 18th, some of the fall sports are set to begin. Can you just talk to me about that? Those sports? I know it's soccer.
Yeah, I know that
cross country.
starting, Friday's the first day of the sports that have been granted the okay to go ahead. They can start practicing it. It's soccer, field hockey, but volleyball can go, but the majority of the schools have already, I'd say probably 95% of the schools have already decided to push to that fall too, which is in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
You're the wedge between the winter and spring season. So you got soccer, you've got golf, you've got field hockey. I mean, those are the big ones. Swimming. A lot of schools have also opted to go to the fall too.
Can you talk to me? What went into the decisions for some of the schools that decided to go into the fall too?
I think a lot of it is the community. There's that thing. If you're in the red, that the state has deemed that you cannot participate in sports. I know Lynn was a community in the red. I know recently Winthrop is as well. So I think a lot of it, most communities have decided, they're going to go ahead. There are some who have expressed a little apprehension and exercising on the side of caution and pushing towards the spring, that wedge, that fall too.
Mm-hmm. And also another factor was with the remote learning, it was, as for what I understand, that some of the schools they would have the students would have to be in school or something of that nature. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, because some of these communities are saying, if kids can't get to school, how are they going to get to practice?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's that concern is, how are they going to get there? And I think they, rather than, they'd want to give the kids every shot at playing. So I think what the hope in some of these communities is that, hopefully by the winter/spring of next year, they'll, will have a vaccine or whatever the case may be. Everyone will be in school, and it'll be a lot easier for these kids to participate.
Mhm. Yeah. With that moving forward, now this year we already know what's happening this year. But if they do happen to come with a vaccine and everything is somewhat back to normal for next year, could we look at for students to participate, that vaccine would have to be a requirement for them to.
You're hearing there's that people want to push it, but there's a lot of pushback. There's a lot of these parents, that you're infringing on what they feel is their parental freedom.
Mhm.
This is my son, my daughter. I know what's best for them. And there are a lot of people. There's some who say, yeah, let's have the vaccine. And there are others who just don't want, are very concerned.
Mhm.
Are there any side effects or whatever the case may be? And there's that freedom involved. They feel like this is another freedom being taken from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's so much things that that so many parents have concerns, administrators have concerns. So, and I know there's a task force that the MIA set for. What were some of the guidelines that they put forth, in allowing the sports that are going to begin this week? What are some of the guidelines in the
Well, what they did,
competition?
I mean, a lot of the sports, soccer, there's a ton of modifications. A lot of them are online. I know it's irritated a lot of the coaches because they feel, you're really changing the game, in terms of the simple things like, corner kicks, just slide tackles, things like that. And then in field hockey, cutting the field down to 7-on-7. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, these are things that coaches who've been coaching 20, 30 years have never had to deal with, and it's really a big change. But I think that what you're hearing more and more is that they're willing to do whatever it takes to get kids back out there because they
Mm-hmm.
saw how tough it was to have last year's seniors or whoever the case may be, varsity athletes, miss out on a spring season, and then even going back to the winter, those who were fortunate enough to have a chance to play for a state championship in basketball and
Mm-hmm.
hockey, and that was taken away from them.
Yeah, and now with football, now I know earlier in the meetings earlier in the year they were looking to have football play later on. Later on in September, start a little bit later. It looks like that's not going to happen. It's going to go towards the winter two
The
segment.
fall
What
too, yeah.
what effect would that have on the seniors? Because most of them would already have their college commitment already, and they'll be
No,
getting ready for
that's a
college.
heck of a point because let's face it, most of the kids, and this is no disrespect, but most of the kids who are playing football are not going to play at the next level. So this is it. But you're going to get, and what you're alluding to is a scholarship kid. You're 2 or 3 months away from going to college. Do you run the risk? I mean, it's almost no different than like the college athletes who are on kids who are going to be in the first round of the NFL draft. I saw the other day 10 of the top 20 kids have opted. They're not playing because they
And
don't
a
want
few
to take
more
that.
just opted out today.
Yeah, they're not taking it, and you can't blame them. I think that the situation could be there with high schools with some of the marquee student athletes in football. They
Mm-hmm.
get you're asking them to play in March and April, when in some cases a lot of these kids are graduating in December because they want to get to colleges quicker. Although that may change with the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you have a great point. I think there will be some pressure on some of these kids that if you're a scholarship kid, you go out there and you get hurt, do you lose your scholarship? I mean, in some cases, you're talking with Division I athlete. I mean,
Yeah.
that's $250,000-$300,000 right there.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's one thing I was interested because that we've already got kids already committing at this time too. So
Yeah,
there's some students already committing now. So now they have to think about their future because
absolutely.
by that time, by the time February comes around, the basketball season's in session and it's gonna overlap, and it's just so many things, so
It's
many
just,
things.
everything is wedged in.
Yeah. So now I understand there's a meeting this week. There's MIA board
Football,
meetings.
football and soccer meeting tomorrow.
Mhm.
MIA virtual. I think swimming is Thursday, and then next week I think you'll see a few of the other sports meeting virtual.
What are some things that they're trying to get accomplished during these
My
meetings?
guess is they're probably just finalize. Like for football, I think what they want to see is how they're going to run their fall two season, and soccer probably just touching up the final things with the modifications and what have you.
Mhm. All right, all right, all right, Danny. I mean, thanks for the information.
Hey, anytime.
It's well needed.
I'm
And
amazed I
also-
got on Zoom, by the way.
Hey, this is the only way. If they want to follow your work or any updates on the MIA, please plug in your social media.
Sure. I mean, I'm at Boston Herald HS, and pick up the Boston Herald every day.
There you go. There you go. All right, Danny, man.
Hey,
Thanks for taking the
take
time. I know
care.
you had a busy
Anytime.
day. All
Have a
right, man. And we are back, and we here with some more NFL. All right, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Doing what they do.
They just got a whole lot better.
Doing what they do.
Not even doing what they do, doing what they do, but more.
Yeah.
With new additions, they got a new toy in the backfield. But the rookie Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he had himself quite the day. The rookie from LSU. And if these guys are running the ball and passing the way they do, woo, good luck trying to beat them. Because, yeah.
I mean, they already won a Super Bowl, so you know what they're bringing to the table.
Without a running game.
Yeah, without the running game. Now you got these young boys. Well, yeah, 138.
Yeah.
1 touchdown. And then, for one, I don't know what the Texans are doing. You just got Johnson. What was his first name again?
David Johnson.
David Johnson, only 11 carries. Like, he's a strong running back in this league. He's legit running back. Only 11 carries. Like, come on, I gotta be 25 at least.
And then the receivers they traded away one of the best receivers in the league, and they barely got any production.
I think he's the best receiver in the league, personally.
Hey, probably so.
Yeah.
You have a valid point. He probably is. And they traded him away for crumbs, and he had himself a game in game 1. He had 14 catches out there, and the receivers they were just doo-doo.
And look at the Chiefs though in the running game. 34 attempts. When's the last time we've seen that from them? So
And they ran 32 times passing. What a balanced attack.
now, if they're doing this season, they're gonna bat Super Bowl.
They might not lose a game, to be honest with you. Their defense looked a little suspect, but if they run the ball 32 times and they keep the other team's offense on the sideline, man, good luck to that. And Patrick Mahomes, he damn near had a perfect quarterback rating. He only had 8 incompletions with QBR of 123, damn near perfect. I mean, quarterback rating of 123 and then a QBR of 90. Damn near played a perfect game.
Yeah, and then on the other end, you got Watson. You got this big old contract. He's getting sacked 4 times.
Yep.
They got to protect this man.
Running for his life.
Got to protect this man. And he already has a bad habit of holding the ball too long. So if you know this, you got to do a little extra work on the line, fellas. That's all.
Come on, they need to get it together. Texans, I don't know what the Texans. I don't know how good they could be, but they're lucky they got the quarterback that could mask a lot of their issues. So we'll see what them going forward. But the Chiefs, man, this team is gonna be tough to beat. And now, guy, look at Lamar Jackson, the guy who people were saying should have played quarterback, was going up against the number 1 pick in that draft that he was in when he was the last pick and the number 1 pick. And we'll talk about 2 people going in 2 different directions.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. Because, granted, I think Baker's hilarious. But do I really believe in this game? Not at all. So, with that being said, it's like the whole world believes in Baker, but they want to believe in Lamar Jackson. We actually believe in Lamar Jackson. We watched him in Louisville get busy after sitting out a whole year watching.
And he wasn't playing with All-Americans in college like Baker was.
He was making them guys All-Americans.
Right.
So, and it just showed. And, like, my thing is, for your mother to defend you when you come into the league, like, nah, he's only playing quarterback. I don't know how many moms my mom would, but I don't know how many other moms would say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Mama don't play. Mama don't play. And then you look at, and then he became the first player to have 3 career games with 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a passer rating of 152.1. I think he's the first quarterback in NFL history to do that. And then you look at his receiver, Marquise Brown, in these season openers last year against Miami. He had 5 catches for 147 yards. This year, 5 catches for 101 yards. Those were like his only 2 100-yard games in the season, in the regular season. Yeah. Like he had one in the playoffs, but in the regular season, those 2 are his only 100-yard catches.
He's gonna get more of those.
Yeah.
But then we see Cleveland in the red zone. I tell you, all you have to do is look at the red zone stat, and they only got out there 1 compared to Baltimore going 5 for 6. You know you're not gonna win any game. You can't get in the red zone. And for them to say Lamar's only a runner, for him to pass 270 yards and Baker only threw for 168.
Lamar only rushed it 7 times too.
Yeah, so I don't know what the analysts or scouts was looking at when they were comparing these two.
I have no idea either. But let's give you some context with Baker Mayfield, just so y'all know I'm not hating. But I've said it before, I'm not a big Baker Mayfield fan. His last 7 games, he has 10 interceptions and 12 touchdowns. Record 2-5. He's only had 3 300-yard games last year. In his last 7 games, he's thrown for less than 200 yards 4 times. 2019, he's had 7 games of less than 200 yards passing, including a game of 100 yards passing total.
First of all, if you got those receivers, you should at least average at least 200 yards a game.
In the first half. Easy.
I was trying to be nice.
No.
But like, he should at least average 200 yards a game. At least. He passed for 100 yards in a game.
And word on the street is Odell might be on the move on the trading block. That's the word on the street. They might, because there's no reason like he should be getting 1-2 catches a game playing with. Like,
he's wasting his talent.
Yeah.
Like he don't have that much mileage. Granted, he got some time, but each year you go.
Yeah, and he's like entering his mid-20s too.
Yeah,
so he's like 26, 27. So it's like you're wasting his time. And my thing with Baker Mayfield is the thing I've never been a fan of. I don't like guys who like to show up to be unprofessional. I say that. So his rookie year, when he didn't get the starting job, so they put him in like halfway to the season. He played well, and then when they fired Hugh Jackson, they had a game. He was playing against Hugh Jackson, and he's doing all this extra stuff, staring down Hugh Jackson every time he throws a touchdown or mocking Hugh Jackson. And I'm just like, doing things that a certain quarterback who plays in New England, if he would have done that, there'd be nonstop headlines going on for a week. Then Baker Mayfield going on national TV, national radio, just trying to come at the people who've been criticizing him and stuff like that. Just doing the most. And my thing is, when Cam Newton was out there dancing, having fun, winning games, he was getting criticized like crazy. And then this guy, he's doing the most, and he's not even winning. And it's like the same people that was out there criticizing Cam seem to not have anything to say. So
you know what I say all the time. They're allowed to act like them, but we can't act like us.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm a fool all the time. Why not?
Yeah, man. So Baker Mayfield is not a good quarterback. I'll say it once and I'll say it again. He's trash. So if Cleveland want to do something with those 2 receivers, call the Saints, ask if Jameis is available. Because one thing with Jameis, he'll get the ball to the playmakers.
I'll give you that.
It might not be his own team sometimes, but he'll get the ball to his receivers. You never heard receivers complain about not getting the ball from Jameis.
I like Jameis.
I like him too.
I like Jameis.
It's just.
You know how I feel.
He got LASIK too, so he could see better.
Oh yeah, they need to investigate them Buccaneers, man.
Cleveland, call the Saints. Jameis is available. Odell will be catching 5-10 passes a game with Jameis. So
yeah, I'll give you that.
And there's no reason Jameis shouldn't be. I mean, that's another story for another day because we know how the NFL treats black quarterbacks, especially with second opportunities.
That's why I feel how I feel.
And then Aaron Rodgers, he had himself quite the game. Remember I told you how he always plays well against the Vikings?
Yeah, I see this.
I didn't know how well he played against the Vikings until I looked at the stats. So
I should have looked at him too.
So his career against the Vikings, 14-8-1, 41 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 110 passer rating, and then he went and torched them for 364 and 4 touchdowns at home.
What's this dude's problem?
And then we got the other guy.
Cousins.
You know your boy Kirk.
Yeah, man.
We said it all the time. The Vikings, they have all the talent in the world, offensively and defensively, but it's their quarterback. And the Packers, we've seen this from Aaron Rodgers. My thing with him is we got to see this in the postseason because his last couple NFC Championship games hasn't been good. So
and I get it. Cousins could have played better. He had one in tow, so
it was that safety that killed all the momentum.
Yeah, but it's like, yo, you ain't gonna win nothing when Green Bay got the ball 41 minutes. Like you barely played. You had the ball for 18 minutes. Like
41
what are you doing?
minutes and they're putting touchdowns.
Yeah,
that's the thing. 41 minutes and they're scoring.
Yeah,
it's not like 41 minutes they're kicking field goals. It's 41 minutes and they're getting touchdowns.
Yeah, you ain't win anything. They got the ball that much. So, then third down conversion, 6 for 11. The Vikings beat for 6. Like you wasn't even helping themselves out to continue to drive.
And they had no answer for Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams just running wild at 14 catches, 2 touchdowns. I think he had $150 or something like that. It was.
And then Jones had a decent game, 16 carries for 66 yards. And that's the type of if you're not gonna have your running back carry the ball that much, have production like that. Have other plays producing so it doesn't look too crazy. So that his small production is big compared to if you have other guys that don't produce as much.
And Jones is good in the back. He's good catching the ball too.
Yeah.
So he's like those little screen passes. They're basically running plays too. So they got something going on offense. So the defense played well too. You know, granted the Vikings got some momentum on offense, but the Packers defense looked good. So we'll see. The Packers, they have a chance. Like the NFC is kind of wide open, so we're not sure who can separate themselves. But if they continue to play like this, they're going to be hard to beat. And if they get home field advantage in the playoffs, it's going to be even harder to beat because nobody want to go up there in the cold in Wisconsin.
Nah, but as long as Mr. Rogers plays the way he's playing right now, they'll be all right. Because last year they was talking about how his team was holding him up. So hopefully they can hold each other up and be balanced this year.
All I can think about is Master P saying Mr. Rogers ain't got nothing on his neighborhood.
Oh.
Don't even ask me. Don't even ask me. Okay, let's go to sports update with Mia Lynn, and then I'll come back and we got another thing for you. So New England sports update with Mia Lynn, and then we're gonna come back.
Welcome to this week's segment of New England Sports Scores and Updates. I'm Mia Lynn, and today we'll be breaking down the latest in New England sports in the last week. To start off, Naomi Osaka secured yet another U.S. Open title, her second one in just 3 years. This win marked her as the first woman to win the U.S. Open after losing the first set since 1994 when Arantxa Sanchez Vicario did just that. She's currently tied for third for the most major titles won by active players. Following this huge comeback victory, Osaka is set to climb up the rankings to number 3. In WNBA news, the Las Vegas Aces ended up soaring to the number 1 spot in the West, knocking off the Seattle Storm from the throne they held most of the season. In the Eastern Conference, the defending champs, the Washington Mystics, locked in the 8th and final seat in the playoff. The winners of last night's single elimination games will take on the 3rd and 4th seeds in single elimination games on Thursday to mark the start of the second round of the playoffs. Following Thursday's games, the Aces and the Storm will face those winners in a best-of-5 semifinal series that'll begin this Sunday. Our home team, the Connecticut Sun, locked down the 7th seed and got a huge win last night over the Courtney Vandersloot-led Chicago Sky. The team was led by DeWanna Bonner's and Alyssa Thomas's 23 and 28 points, respectively. Those two will look to lead the Sun to another victory tomorrow night as they take on the Los Angeles Sparks in a win-or-go-home game. Tip-off at 9 p.m. The Red Sox stand 5th and last in the AL East, 3 games behind the Orioles with a record of 18 and 31. They won their game last night to the Miami Marlins in a game that went scoreless in the first 5 innings. The team can credit Devers and Bogarts for their 6th and 8th inning run. The Sox will look to finish their last 11 games strong as they wrap up this unusual season. In college football news, our very own the Boston College Eagles will be taking on the Duke University Blue Devils this Saturday in Durham, North Carolina. While this is the Blue Devils' second game of the season, this will be the season opener for our very own Eagles. The Blue Devils fell to Notre Dame in their season opener, so the Eagles can expect a tough game ahead as both teams will be looking to secure their first win of the 2020 season. As for the Eagles, they'll most likely be starting a new quarterback on Saturday, Phil Jurkovec. Make sure to catch the Eagles in action this Saturday. Kickoff is at noon. Lastly, following a win over the Miami Dolphins to kick off the 2020 NFL season for the Patriots, the team will look to make it 2 wins in a row as they prepare to take on the Seattle Seahawks on the road in an empty CenturyLink field that is infamous for their 12th man. This will be the first road game for the Patriots and for Cam Newton in a Patriots jersey. The Seahawks are also coming off of a win after beating the Atlanta Falcons by 13 last Sunday. Newton will continue to look to bring that new feel to the Patriots offense that is different to that of when Brady held the throne. This will be a tough matchup for the Patriots offensively and defensively as they'll try to contain number 1 NFC quarterback Russell Wilson and as they continue to search for some playmakers on their roster. Nevertheless, the Seahawks, a top Super Bowl contender, won't be making things easy for our home team. Make sure to catch the team in action on Sunday night at 8:20 p.m.
All right, and we are back, and we got, this week we don't got 1, but we got 2+1 interviews for you. This one we already did. It's already up on the website, but I'm going to give you a little tease of it. So I spoke with the editor-in-chief of Carolina Blitz, Vashti. Talked week 1 of NFL. We talked social justice with the NFL. We're going to talk about that really quickly when we get back. And, and we talked about WAP. There was some WAP conversation going on in here. We'll talk about that too when we come back. So, +1. Here's a +1 tease. A lot of social justice issues, a lot of demonstrations happening. Me personally, I just think it's pandering. Me personally, I think it's pandering with the NFL, because the reason I say that is because the two people that have been at the forefront of this are not in the league. And also, at this point, kneeling, it doesn't have the same effect. It's not as strong as it was 4 years ago. Nobody's going to lose their money. Nobody's going to lose their job. Owners are doing it. Coaches are doing it. It's a demonstration. It's more safe to kneel now. So I think all this stuff is just, some of it I think it's just pandering.
Yeah, and I think that there are good things and there are bad things about kind of like this space that we're in as far as the NFL specifically. The NBA has always been a lot more outspoken. I feel like their players have more power or they embrace their power more when it comes to that. I do think it's good that players aren't shunned like Colin Kaepernick was for just speaking up for basic human rights and speaking out against injustices that we face every day in this country as Black people. So that is good. On the flip side, it doesn't carry as much weight, like you said. It's not, oh, wow, like they're, at this point, kneeling, putting a fist up, wearing a name on a helmet, like I guess you're acknowledging the movement. I don't know how much it really helps the movement. And I feel like these teams or leaders on these teams should be speaking more to maybe community organizers, those who are more active in the movement, to see how they can help as far as whatever requests or demands that they can make. But right now, the kneeling, the patches, the even just kind of throwing money at organizations without any type of blueprint.
Yeah.
I just, I see the effort, and the NFL's hand was kind of forced. It's not like they did this willingly, but I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more. And as a caveat, athletes aren't the only ones who are responsible in this. Like you and I, as journalists, it's our responsibility to bring light and to keep the conversation going.
And we are back. To watch that full interview, go to the LCTV website. It's up there. Go to the YouTube channel. It's up there on the YouTube channel as well to watch that full interview with Vashti. Now, what I was saying is about the WAP. Daniel House got kicked out the bubble for playing house.
I don't agree at all.
They said he had one of the people that administers the coronavirus test in his room for more than 8 hours. Maybe they could have been playing Monopoly.
Also, the issue was it was more than 8 hours. Because before, the man seemed like, because he had a woman in his room. My whole thing is, y'all under the bubble. Ain't nobody catching anything. That's something you pick. Now, if he's stepping outside a relationship, that's his business. Nobody else's business but his and his woman's. But, if I'm in that bubble, I'm causing trouble. That's how it go.
Man, there's so many cameras around that bubble. That's the only issue. There's so many cameras in that bubble. There's so many eyes. So unless somebody told, I think it was one of the Lakers.
It's always a rat, man. Yeah. This generation is breeding them.
But dudes out here risking it all just for a good time. I mean, we got the dude from Seattle. Now we got this. It's like, man.
It's men being men, though. Like, God forbid, you try to get you something. God forbid. Just because some people don't want you to get you none because they like, they like what they like, that ain't your problem.
Man, he should have snuck out the bubble or something.
You can't sneak out the bubble. He did everything he was supposed to do. He got somebody that was already in the bubble. She's a nurse, meaning she don't got it. They just mad that he was getting it. That's all. They just mad, man. They just mad.
I ain't mad at him, but
Not
man,
at all.
I just want to hear that discussion that him and what he had with his wife when he got home. Baby, why'd you get kicked out the bubble?
Well, I heard from what I heard online, this is I think his girlfriend, and she deleted all his pictures from his Instagram and all that. But I don't think he cares that much. He breadwinner. Now I hope she brings something to the table.
He should have just said, "Listen, they won't let me fly you in, so."
She just told her. But
that could have been on that Lou Will.
yeah, man.
Oh man, that was the funniest story out of there.
But it's like, what else could you gotta do? Like, he did everything he's supposed to do.
Play with himself. Apparently, that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, right.
I don't even know if we can say that, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But you ain't gonna be forcing me on me. No, if I got something over there that's pretty, I'm getting it.
All right, and then also another thing that happened during week 1, there was all the social justice stuff happening in the NFL, kneeling, locking arms, and all that. And then we just saw that these NFL fans never cared about the flag, never cared about the military. They don't want you to kneel. They don't want you to lock hands. They don't want you to show unity. They don't want you to talk anything about social justice or anything that has to deal with black people, because we saw what happened in Kansas City. They locked arms. They didn't kneel. And they got booed, which is what everybody has been saying for the longest time, that y'all made this about the military and the flag, which it was never the case. It was about black people's rights, and y'all don't care about black people's rights, and y'all just showed that by booing.
I told some co-workers a couple of days ago, I feel like when owners sit in their boxes and look at the field, all they see is niggas on the field. No different than picking cotton on the field when you have the owners and stuff. So it's a certain stigma that you see, and the teams are predominantly African Americans.
Yeah.
And type of fans do they bring in? Same fans that have the same morals that these owners have.
Yeah.
And that's how I always looked at it. That's why I feel like they don't respect their players at all.
At all.
Can I even say that?
No, we edit, so it's fine. Cool. It's fine. Yeah, it was just it was ridiculous, and all this NFL social justice stuff. I'm not with all that. Every time I see it, them playing the Black National Anthem and all that, I'm just not with all that, because I'm just like, listen, you got Eric Reed and Colin Kaepernick are still not on the football team for obvious reasons. And then you guys are out here talking about all this social justice stuff, but you don't want to give these two guys an opportunity to get back on the field. And then the other thing, are these owners and teams, are they actually investing money into social justice programs? Are they educating their staff, their workers, about social justice or about racial inequalities, discrimination, and all that? Because a lot of people think that stuff doesn't exist, and I'm not too sure if these NFL team owners actually really care about it. Maybe some do, but we've seen from the NFL they don't really care about it. They're just gonna do it because now it's a lot easier to do it. Instead of 2016, when they would have lost revenue, they would have lost advertisements. They didn't want to do it now. Now they're talking about, oh, we should have listened to Colin Kaepernick back then. Oh, we was wrong. It's like, nah, y'all just didn't want to lose y'all money. That's basically what it came down to.
Remember, they're allowed to act like them. We're not allowed to act like us, because we have to protest peacefully.
Yeah.
They get mad about masks and be causing hell everywhere. They get mad about being in the house for a couple months and walking up to state houses with AR-15s and stuff. And that's what I mean. They've always been allowed to act like them, because society's never forced them to conform to society or act a certain way. So they think society belongs to them.
Yeah.
And society belongs to everybody. I don't know if you checked. But
yeah, and it's just so much. People ask so much of these athletes like they're the ones that's supposed to be making the difference. No, they're not. Like, yeah, they can make a difference, but how much do you expect them to make a difference? You got people that are in position of power that are making laws that makes it harder for black people to vote, that makes it harder for black people to get their simple basic rights. Black people can't even get justice for unjust killing, for being profiled. You know, you get shot in your home, and the city gives your family $12 million, but they don't want to arrest the cops that actually killed you.
Also, too, how much of a difference can an athlete make in plain clothes? He doesn't make one because you don't give him a chance to.
Yeah. And we've seen athletes get profiled and be victims of police brutality. I mean, I remember, I think Cam Chancellor, he was racially profiled, and he was looking at buildings to buy so he could build a gym, and he got racially profiled. I mean, we talked about this in previous shows. Sterling Brown from the Milwaukee Bucks, beat up by the police, and he's still fighting that case. So it's just ridiculous.
I feel like they only respect your word when they're paying to hear it, and you're in uniform.
Yeah. So yeah,
They ain't
that's
gonna like
that.
us at this episode.
Oh,
You know, I don't care.
Nah, they love us. My grandma loved me, so I'm here. All right, let's go around the league real quick. Let's talk about some other scores. We're just gonna go rapid fire with this. Yeah, we sweating in here. They're cooking. They're cooking in the house.
I got a hoodie on like a fool.
Right. All right. Seahawks 28, Falcons 35. Seahawks picking up right where they left off, looking great offensively and defensively. Russell Wilson putting himself in the MVP category. He might get one this year. Falcons.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about them.
All right.
Next.
All right, AFC East, Bills and Jets. Then the Jets, they just every year they look worse. Their offense is atrocious. Their defense is atrocious. Their head coach is dumb. Josh Allen, he wasn't bad. He 33 or 46, 312 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then he ran it 14 times. Like the Bills, good for them. But the Jets just stink.
Question: did they have the same possessions? It's the same time possession as Green Bay, or did I write the same stat down in 2 places?
I think he probably wrote the same stat in 2 places.
All right, then. Forget what I was going to say. Oh, no, the Bills ran 28 more plays, though.
The Bills just look.
Hold on. You sure they didn't have it 41 minutes also? Because they ran 28 more plays. I don't know about looking at the same thing twice.
Let's see. Let me look that up. But the Jets, they look atrocious. So they ran 81 plays.
No, possession time.
Time of possession.
Yeah, time of possession.
41 to 18.
Same exact time as the as the Packers and Vikings game.
Oh.
So you're not winning anything if you got the ball 40 for only 18 minutes long.
And your coach is not the smartest coach. So coaching matters, and it seems like the Jets, all their offensive guys, they're just going backwards.
And you got to give Gore more than 6 carries.
Yeah.
What are you, stupid? He's a Hall of Fame running back.
Yeah. All right, Indiana, Jacksonville. Phillip Rivers looked good. Then he looked like Phillip Rivers throwing interceptions. Gardner Minshew, hey, what can you say about him?
Mustache. Killing.
Kudos to him. They got that win. Washington, Philadelphia. Carson Wentz had some questionable decisions that pretty much cost this team the game. They were up 17-0. Throws an interception that pretty much switched the momentum. Then throws another one. Gave the team from Washington a whole lot of momentum, and they just ran with it. And the Eagles, once again, injury issues, can't protect your quarterback, turnovers. It's like the NFC East, you're probably gonna win 7 or 8 games to win that division.
Yeah, because when you look at Washington's stats, their plays like the box score, they shouldn't even have competed in this game. Yeah. But they ended up winning because Philly doesn't value the ball, and he do get sacked 8 times. That's a problem.
8 times. You can't protect your big money quarterback. You can't just have your quarterback getting sacked 8 times. Like, that's just ridiculous.
He's injury prone too, so you want to keep him healthy.
Yeah. Apparently they don't care.
No, they don't.
So Chicago Bears and Detroit Lions, and this was probably the most Detroit Chicago game ever. The way it ended, Lions had a lead at the end, then the Bears just came down and scored, and then Daniel Swift, he dropped a pass that would have won the game. Basically, the Lions, from what I saw from the Lions fans, they were like, this is the same old Lions. It's just another year of the same Lions.
Did that 4th down conversion come in the 4th quarter? I didn't see this game.
I believe so.
So that just shows how you got to value 4th down and 3rd downs. That conversion allowed them to get the lead.
Yeah. All right. Chargers, Bengals. This came down to the last possession. AJ Green had potentially the game-winning touchdown, but they called him for pass interference, which was correct. He pushed off, and then they missed the field goal. Joe Burrow had a good debut.
Yeah, man. What's it, Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor.
16 for 30, 208 yards. That ain't bad, man. And like I said, when you're getting 5.1, I want to say yards per play, you're liable to get a lot of first downs.
And he don't turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
So Bengals are 0-1. Chargers are 1-0. Bengals and Browns are playing today in the Toilet Bowl game tonight. I don't know why they scheduled that game tonight.
That's on TV?
Yeah, that's on TV. Yeah. Yeah.
On YouTube or something.
Or Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Netflix. I don't know.
San Francisco 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals. This was a good game. Yo, Kyler Murray, he's
good. He's nice.
Yo, he looks like a little kid though when he's running.
He mad little, but he good though. That's why I say like he's small, but he got a lot of talent.
Yeah, and DeAndre Hopkins, 14 catches, 151 yards. The Niners had a chance to win at the end, but the Cardinals just made a great play at the end.
Yeah, and when you're running the ball the way they running it, 5 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Keep running it.
Yeah, and Kyler Murray was just running around. They couldn't stop him. He's so little, though.
Yeah,
but we got to give this guy, Cliff Kingsbury, their coach, we got to give him a lot of credit. Like, last year, they quietly had a good season, and he did a really good job. All the criticism he had before, when he got the job, but he's doing a good job.
And also, let's give kudos to Murray, because without your quarterback having a brain, I wouldn't be all right.
All right, Monday night football. Steelers 26, Giants 16. Big Ben, he had a good game. Juju had 2 catches. The Giants, they look like, I thought it was Eli out there. They went 19 plays and then threw an interception at the 1 yard line.
I was disappointed that these games were even on Monday Night Football. I was watching. I think I went up to see Joe.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just miserable.
Yeah, the slate of Monday night game was pretty bad. Yeah. So the Giants, woo, come on, man. Saquon at one point.
Oh, he had that. What's his name? Daniel Jones. He did some weights. Hit the weights, boy. Hit that little. I don't like Ben, but he would have threw through that.
Yeah. So Steelers, they look good. Good. Kudos to them. They're gonna be a team to watch because they went 8-8 with backup quarterbacks last year. So we'll see. And then the last game, Titans Broncos came down to a field goal. Gostkowski, who was missing field goals all game, he made the game-winning field goals. But this game was hard to watch.
That game was
basura. So that was that. All right, let's go to Week 1 top 10 plays, and then we're gonna come back with our game picks. And we are back, all right? So last week, Todd went 11-5, and I went 10-6. We were legit neck and neck, and it was the Monday night games that had it for us because we was going neck and neck. It was like somehow my top half was all right, and then had a good bottom. His top half was
Detroit, man. Give y'all a knuckle sandwich.
All right, let's go. Let's get into it. Thursday night football. Bengals at Cleveland. Ugh.
I'm gonna take Burrow.
You gonna take Burrow? Yeah, I just can't. I personally don't like either teams because I'll just go with Burrow because of LSU reasons. Just because.
I mean, you gotta root for the Browns.
Yeah, I know.
Can't even get there to play the ball.
All right, Giants and Bears at Chicago.
Giants.
I'll go with the Bears. They look a little better than the Giants. Falcons at Dallas.
Dallas.
I agree with you on that. Falcons are the same old Falcons. Detroit at Green Bay. Detroit never wins in Green Bay, so I'm gonna go with Green Bay.
I'm gonna go with Detroit, man.
They won one game in Green Bay in like 30 years.
I'm gonna go with Detroit, man.
Jacksonville, Tennessee. At Tennessee. They're gonna run Derrick Henry. Minnesota at Indy.
Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota. They got it. Buffalo at Miami.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Buffalo.
Me too, Buffalo. This one, San Francisco at New York.
I'm gonna go with New York.
Oh, you going with the Jets?
Yeah, I'm gonna see. I think they might surprise.
I'll go with San Fran because the Jets look abysmal. The Rams at Philadelphia.
Rams.
You going with the Rams?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Philly. If Philly don't win, I probably won't pick them again for the rest of the season. But I'm gonna go with Philly. Denver at Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
You going with Pittsburgh? Young quarterback, flying. Yeah. Pittsburgh. Carolina at Tampa.
Carolina.
Going with Carolina. I'm going to go with Tampa. Home opener. Team from Washington at Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah, I like what I saw from Arizona. I'm going to go with Arizona. Team from Washington, they still got a lot of things to work on. Kansas City Chargers.
Kansas City.
Not sure. Yeah, Kansas City. Baltimore at Houston.
Ooh, Baltimore.
Going with Baltimore. I think Houston's going to get this one. Houston. New England at Seattle.
Come on, man.
Yeah, we go with the Pats. And Monday Night Football, the Saints going to the Raiders.
Raiders.
I'm going with the Raiders because them traveling west is always some type of issue. So I'm going to go with the Raiders. And yeah, and that is that. That is our picks for them. That's that for the show. Maybe we forgot something. I don't know, probably, but who cares? Yeah, make sure to follow LCTV After the Whistle on Instagram, Lynn Community Television on Facebook. Go to the lyntv.org to watch previous shows. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. His Instagram, Mr. Burton 23. Mine, Mukala K. Check us out. And you know what he always says, come get this workout.
Come get this work.
Yeah. And we are out of here. We will see you guys next week. And
Yes, you will.
hopefully I do better. Oh yeah, my fantasy team was trash. I got -2 points from the Vikings.
And parents, be patient with this Zoom and Schoology stuff. It'll figure itself out.
And it will. And we're out of here. Have a great day, ladies and
All right.
gentlemen.